Hi, Judith. Great.
Hello.
To me, as we just rest together, there's beautiful fine tuning that just happens by itself without any effort whatsoever, and just feels how the system comes back to what it knows in its deepest knowing, something like that. Yeah, with no effort, no trying, nothing, just resting.
Yes, yes. And what I like to speak about is that in the nights this can be so difficult.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm on the edge in relating. So on one hand, the adult is like no compromise anymore, but then the nights I get this young organization, and anxiety kicks in. And I had one night that I spoke with Mike, that I really could rest in the anxiety. And I just felt that there was no identification anymore with the anxiety and the fear. But the last 2 nights, I feel that there is a spinning mind, and there I get identified, or it is identified. I can't find the resting in there. And what is then a resource for me is that I create, in a sense, too. I sit, because laying down, then it's not possible. I sit, and then life force can come in, and I hold a cushion to my belly and support the child, you could say, until quieting down starts to happen. So, but then, in a sense, there are two. An adult part, you could say, or the one that can be here, and the other one that I held. So this is still an area where I would love that I could rest in the midst of all this.
You know, the way I see it is, instead of having a goal or an agenda, or just examining what having that goal does, what you'd love. So all you know, actually, is whatever's coming up is coming up within a deep interest. And so the way I would speak it is that there's a subtle but beautiful learning that's happening. And it's not something you can rush, and it's not, but what is useful is just to see that, because it is such an important part of this dynamic, where there's a preference, you could say, of being at peace over, like, in other words, it becomes a goal, it becomes, so then the curiosity for what's actually going on is lost because of that.
That could be so.
It's a subtlety, but it's really a profound one, actually.
What I search is actually, how can I resource myself during the night? That is actually.
That's already happening. You're already playing with it. So now with resourcing, it's like these little increments of not looking for coming to a place where it's just like, even the fact that there's recognizing that resourcing is useful, and then being grateful for that, and then just finding a little bit of gratefulness in every resource that you can find.
It's playing over and over again.
Because it's just like, oh wow, it's suddenly, it's like there's an interest in exploring, finding a resource, and so I mean, how lucky is that, man? Already, and then there's a lot of different resources, resourcing, but like when we rest together, having another nervous system is a huge resource, especially in another nervous system that's not on the other end of a dynamic, that's just there. No agenda, no wanting to teach you or show you, just resting together. That is.
That is what I do a lot. Also, the mornings I always start watching you or watching Mike, or always. And now even more that I just take the other to resource, not only myself, had to do it myself, but just indeed in the resource with the other. And that is a huge support for me. I love that.
For sure.
Thank you, Isaac. Lovely to hang out with you.
Yeah, so beautiful, and I love that you can speak so honestly and vulnerably about this exploration going on. And maybe we go to gallery view just for a moment and see if this was useful to anybody. Just if it was this useful to anybody, if you could just show your hand, so you can see it's actually we're all in the same boat in a
Even
way. And
kijken.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I also must say how much I have gratitude that I really feel the deepening that is happening and the resting. Oh, that is whole efforting pattern somehow is so far gone. It will have some residues, but it is so far gone. The resting is deeper and deeper. So I'm really grateful. Really grateful.
Beauty.
So thank you, Isaac. I will mute myself.
No, thanks, Judith.
Isaac? Put in my name.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so just to, I would love to just explore just sitting with you. And, or yeah, sitting together or whatever. But I just share a little bit of a story or whatever is that somehow, like, again, this thing is being touched of having this, I did a session with someone also, and this thing about anger or rage and then when I can feel I'm tapping into it, and then I wonder if we can sit with it together, because it feels that I don't know actually.
To me, in my knowing, and you can see if it resonates for you, that getting in that it's actually safe enough for that anger to come up now is actually, in my view, a sign of coming alive.
Yeah, I know it feels actually really good. So in one point, I love to be in there because it feels, or I love to feel it because it feels just very powerful. But then all these confusions come about, well, but yeah, maybe I'm just staying in that state because that's nicer to feel than what's underneath, or
I understand. Look, it's so we hear.
Also keep 1 second.
Okay.
No, it's fine. It's open. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and then anger comes, like, what the fuck? Why am I like, why is this so much like my story all the time? Why do I have to feel? Yeah, I just, but I love to feel it if it's just, I actually like to feel it, but then the anger or like the fear comes of destroying something, and especially maybe even towards like sitting with it. Yeah, maybe also with other people, or yeah, I don't know. Like with you, it feels safe, but yeah.
Yeah. So let's even take the label anger off.
Yeah.
And let's just see if we can go directly to the sensation. And just where in the body do you sense and feel? And solar plexus, good. And just, does it only sit there, or does it have little tentacles elsewhere that it goes, or little? Just good. And just resting as there's a resting, you know, especially if those sensations were associated with that it wasn't allowed to feel that, or that wasn't allowed to be there, there would be some automaticities that try to contain it. So just sensing where anything wants
So
to...
interesting, because if I wouldn't put a label on it at all, then it's just a lot of energy. And I wonder why.
It's just a lot of energy.
Yeah, but I wonder why that then happens, that interpretation of it being anger, because it does feel a little bit like this, like, yeah, just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just feeling that, letting it be there.
Oh, this is so nice.
Mm. Just feel how that energy moves in the body when it's allowed to move and be free. It's actually, like you said, it's nice.
It feels really nice. I like it. I love it very much. If it's okay, then it's yeah. Then there's actually maybe nothing wrong with it. It's just
Yeah. You know, it's like it's you could say it's one of the many possibilities of being human.
Yeah, and I think, well, that's the story, but maybe because, you know, it came out in my teen years as being an absolute rebel, and then, you know, thinking like associated with that it's not okay. But yeah, now is now, and now it's different. Yeah, it actually really good.
Yeah, because now it's not fighting against anything. It's just, you could say it's getting received and welcomed. And it's interesting, you know, in sense of right now on the planet, there's all these restrictions and, like, in my view, absolute crazy, non-rational responses. Even though more clear information is out there, the responses are still as crazy as ever. And so for many people, there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of pissed offness. At, you know, like, in twofold. One, that it's been actually that, you know, like, that people know better, and yet still this is going on, and then that a lot of people are just going with it. So, you know, that's playing in the field big time. It's like, yeah. So tuning into that in the field, just everywhere that is, yeah, well, it's a powerful energy right now.
Yeah, and I'm actually really grateful for that, because it's so good to just feel it.
Yeah, and it's going on worldwide at the moment. I mean, it's really, you know, a lot of times people are running so fast, and of course there's a lot of things going on, but it's not so in everybody's faces.
Yeah.
Now it's really...
What happened in Minnesota, I'm not sure if you've seen that, but that's also, of course, about that man being held down by cops, and
yeah,
of course also very upsetting. Yeah, thank you so much. It's
and just, you know, as we hear, sensing into the field where this energy is, we're just part of that field,
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was.
And just feeling into it fully as much as you can right now, just as, without, when as the moment it starts to feel overwhelming or too much, then you back off. But just right now, just tuning into that frequency in the field right now. It's like, that wants to project in the future. Where's this going? What's going to happen to me? And fuck, I don't agree. This is, it's crazy. It's not right. And how do I get my voice heard? And I mean, all of that's going on in the field right now. There's a lot, and then a lot of people are just, I don't, I trust the rules and the laws, and I want to keep social distancing. I want to be safe, no matter what the cost is to anybody else. Yeah. It's like
Yeah, it feels very different now. Like it feels more room for to be there, and I feel like a huge kind of like a discharge. I think in my
yeah. So now it's moved more to you, the space of this frequency, this information in the field, and it's like from there, it's actually it's lovely because you're in your function, you're in your just for that.
Yeah, it's so good to know that it's then it becomes something so different, and then it's beautiful to be with it also.
Exactly without needing to solve it or fix it or anything. It's like, I think I've spoken a few times in the last meeting. I can't really remember what I spoke on the meetings or on Facebook, but when I look at human history, it's been like one after the another, like an invasion, like the Romans and then the Huns and then somebody else and then somebody else, and always the same story, coming in, killing the men, taking the women for the soldiers, taking the children away to train the soldiers, and taxing everybody who's left to the point of nearly starving them. And then the next wave comes through, and the next wave. And some people running to the forests and surviving on nothing in the forests, trying to just, So that's our history, you could say. So we carry that. And, wow, what's that like to, some people come and they tell you these are the rules, and, that's it. You work from morning to night and you get just enough left to eat, and that's it. And your families are destroyed, your life is held hostage. And now we're watching the same thing again, and it's bringing up all the echoes of that. It's at least that's how it feels to me. It could be an interpretation, who knows? But
no, and I think it does resonate, because a lot of things happened, I think, also in history that are upsetting, that do impact. And then there's this like, well, at one level, of course, you can understand it all and have compassion, but I guess it also needs to be felt, this anger or this,
yeah.
Yeah, so not again, then it goes like, oh, but nothing to do, it's just feeling it.
Yeah, just resting, just watching where something in the system wants to get away from it, wants to take it personally, wants to do anything other than gently.
Yeah, exactly, because if it doesn't even need to be expressed in a certain way, if it's because that is where it thinks it needs, but if it just can be felt and no action necessarily has to be taken, or that's
Exactly.
actually really okay.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned that guy getting killed by the police. Again, the same story. You know, some authority, guy's just wearing a uniform, and then suddenly they can overstep their.
I could also feel anger about, yeah, like, yeah, it's just upsetting.
Yeah. And you know, in the end, we have no idea what was playing there. You know, what was going on in that being's life that ended up with them being not appropriate to the moment. And I mean, I don't have to look very far in myself to see where this system has acted out of all proportion to what's going on in the moment. You know,
Yeah,
I think we've all
can happen so quickly. Oh,
can happen. Yeah.
thank you, Isaac. Really.
Big love. Ciao.
Ine would like to speak.
Ina.
Yeah. Hello, Isaac.
Hi, Ina.
I like to connect, and I'm inquiring into what the system is doing. Then I don't feel real contact with someone. Because I can see that the system experiences easily disconnection when someone is like talking, and then I lose the connection.
So let's just slow that down for a second, because for me, that is a survival response.
Yeah, that's
so it's not like you lose contact.
Yeah.
Yes, something happens, there's a movement.
Yeah.
And your system isn't interested in that. And it's not interested in that. But it's making itself wrong for that.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I'm making myself wrong. I have to.
And not even you.
It's the system.
It's just there's just a thing that, you know, like somewhere it's picked up this idea that there's a certain way to be. But what you know is in a certain circumstance where the way I hear it is there's no interest in that. And so the system goes away. I mean, I know that so well in myself. It's like, but to me, I just see, okay, it doesn't, there's no interest in that.
Okay.
Not a problem. It's just like, there's just no interest. Someone wants to talk to me about something where there's no interest. You know, I can say that there's no interest, but it's just, when there's no interest, there's no interest. It's not like there's no interest in the person. There's just no interest in that way of, you could say, communicating more.
Yeah. Yeah, and I recognize that the system is making itself wrong for that.
Yeah.
Because then I end up with this feeling like, why can't I behave normal?
Okay, so what would be like, just for fun, you know, it's like the honesty is, the vulnerability is, look, there's no real interest in this, and so my attention is going elsewhere.
You know, I like it the way you say it, because there is no tension behind it. But I'm afraid that when I say it, there's a kind of tension behind it, with which
it could easily be that somebody will be hurt by that.
Yeah.
And,
I think
like,
that's why I think that's why it is difficult for this system, I guess.
Up till now.
Up till now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this
Yeah,
system would rather feel uncomfortable and do a whole thing with itself than have somebody project onto it.
Wow.
Take the risk that someone would project onto it.
Yeah. Oh, it's
And
good to
again, you know, yeah, again, I guess many of us know that. That just, you know, it's like, you know, and especially, you know, in your profession of being a therapist, you know, somebody's talking away and you don't have an interest and they're paying you. So,
yeah,
listen,
but it's
you
so,
know,
like when people are coming for a session, then I feel much freer to be able to say, like, this is doing it with me. Let's look into that.
Mhm.
But when I'm with other people, I don't. Then the system makes it a problem, actually.
Mhm. Yeah. Good to see it, eh? I mean, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
very good. I'm happy I see it.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you name it like this.
Mm.
That's about that it's not a doing, but that is the system goes away because it's not interested.
Yeah, and what goes away is the attention. The attention just doesn't have an interest there. And to me,
Yeah.
when there's no interest, then the attention drifts. It's just like that.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you named it.
Mm. But then, you know, it's like to find a way of gently sharing that, or just saying, oh, wow, I see my attention went away. And it's not that I'm not interested in you. It's just this expression somehow it doesn't have much interest in this expression at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, that also has to do with self-love.
Oh, of
I
course.
can be gentle with this system, then it's more easy
Yeah.
to be gentle with another system.
Exactly. Yeah.
It feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today, you know, went to the supermarket just when my body was getting into its hungry cycle, and
Yeah.
there was a place there selling pizzas and all that stuff, and it smelled absolutely delicious, and I was like, I want something, you know. But when I really checked in, I could see that even though there was a certain, like, wanting to, being enticed by that smell of fat and all that stuff.
Yeah, I
But
recognize.
something something deeper knew, no, I don't want to put that in the body right now. And so, you know, it was kind of like this funny thing of, yes, there was hunger. Yes, there was an interest in bringing something in, but not that. And so, you know, that, yeah, it's that funny, yes, it smells good, but no, it doesn't feel good in my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you said this morning, you spoke about the difference between resting in awareness and resting as awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that very much.
Okay.
It also made it so clear.
Yeah. 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 And that resting, when we have an idea that I have to rest in awareness, then there's a me and awareness.
And doing.
Yeah. And a doing and all that stuff.
And does it work? And
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Isaac, I am so grateful to you and to the whole group for this possibility to come back again and again and again.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
really
thanks.
very, very helpful.
Ah, exquisite. It's lovely to hear.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Isaac.
Hi, Varisha.
I'm still exploring with addiction, and I have a very great book about the roots of diseases and all the things. And I read today and I don't get it at all. So it's, what was it? Drugs, so also nicotine, are my refugee to protect me against myself. I can't get it, but I believe that there's truth in it.
See, it's like everybody uses language differently. Can you turn your volume down a little bit? Because I'm hearing myself back on your computer.
My volume, yes, I can. Wait a minute. Now, better?
Yeah, let me, I'm hearing
It's
myself
better
back.
now?
Do you have earphones?
Yes.
Okay. Better, much better.
Yes.
Can you hear
I
me?
hear you also better. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I hear you better.
Much softer,
Yeah.
much softer.
Good.
So I can see it was an escape. My parents smoked, da, 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 da. It was not so cozy in my family. I can see all this. But to protect me against myself, I can't.
Yeah, you see, I'm not sure what that actually means.
Yeah, I mean, the
See, for me,
affirmation is.
the words I would use is there's a sensation that comes up that the system hasn't yet found a way of being present to. So it's that's how the system deals with it. It goes into something that can get away from those sensations.
Okay, yeah, escaping. Yes,
Yeah.
they say this also. And in the affirmation, it's clear that I accept that nicotine is poison for me. So this was a good input to accept it. Huh?
You know, again, it's like a lot of indigenous cultures
Smoke.
smoke. Yeah.
I know.
So I'm not, I think there's a way where it's done in a sacred way, and there's a way where it's it's an automatic unconscious habit, you could say. And so I think there's a lot of variation in that whole thing. So it's like recognizing that there's a pattern playing, and we can call it an addiction, because it's like one of the natures of addiction is it goes on into automatic, and we don't even hardly notice that you're smoking or you're eating or something. It's just, but there's a level of filling an emptiness or something that just gets somewhat satisfied, but not really. So it's not wrong and it's not bad. There's just an opportunity in it. And so clearly there's an interest to explore deeper into it. But, you know, it sounds like part of what's also being explored is this idea that it's not okay to have an addiction.
Mhm. It's okay to have an addiction.
Yeah.
Comes up.
Yeah. Just feel that there's an addiction there, and okay. And at the same time there's an interest. Okay.
It seems like if I follow this book, there's something inside me which is not in peace.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that what's inside you that's not in peace is happening in peace.
Yes.
So let's just explore nuances here. I have to bring that to peace. So that I can be at peace. And the peace that whatever this is appearing in is here. And there's some automatic and conscious movements going on that give the appearance of that I'm not at peace, that there's a me that's not at peace. It's a different perspective, yeah?
Mm. Mm.
I'm that in which even not being at peace appears.
Say again?
I'm that in which
Yeah.
even not being at peace appears.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
And that appearance cannot disturb. It's just a tiny ripple. And it's welcome to ripple till the last breath. It's not going to disturb anything. It's just a ripple. And that deep knowing of who I am is not disturbed by that. And at the same time, a curiosity, really interested in that mechanism, exploring it, and
Wow.
Mm.
Thank you so much for your wise words. Yes. Wow. Yeah. Wow. 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 What a relief.
You see?
And I looked, Nisaragata became 84. Who smoked all this time? 84.
And Ramana died at 70. what we're going to make of
Okay.
anything.
Yes. Thank you.
Hi, Isaac.
That sounds like Langani.
Can you see me?
I see you.
Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah. Excellent.
I enjoyed your Facebook little video today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I enjoyed quite a lot of them, but today's was special.
Oh, good. You know, if anyone ever has, I never know. It's still a couple of seconds before I turn on the video. I have no idea what I'm going to speak about or anything like that. So it's just sometimes nothing comes at all. I watch little things wanting to, but just to speak, just to speak doesn't really interest. It's like when something, yeah. Anyway, so if you ever want something spoken of, you can put in the comments, and maybe I'll respond, and maybe not. Never know.
Depending how you feel.
It's I don't even know what it's depending on. It's like I just know that I somehow it's at this time it's each day finding a few moments just to sit in front of the screen and rest and see what wants to use, you know, how totality wants to use these lips to. I'm noticing, who knows how long this lasts too, but I'm noticing also for a while there was a really big interest in posting on Facebook, but that seems to be getting less now. It's such a funny medium, Facebook. I mean, it's really difficult to have a deep inquiry there. You know, when you post something and then people write and just. But these little clips I like.
I like
still
little
fun.
clips. I don't go for the heavy stuff.
Yes.
I get too lost in it all.
Yeah. What does that mean? I get too lost in it?
It overwhelms me. Too much information. I found
too much information.
It was too much information, and I didn't know where to go with it. What to, you know.
Yeah.
What was good information? What wasn't good information? Yeah, very confusing. I found. So in the end, I just it was that overwhelm.
Yeah. And you identified it, and I'm really pleased that you took a moment just to identify it. It's just like there's so much conflicting information and just not knowing where to get clear information.
Yeah.
Because you know, like there is a lot of bots that, you know, like these automatic programs that spread false information that are bought and paid for. And so, like you say, it's a really funny to try and weed through that stuff and find where, where there's just
the truth is, Yeah,
I don't know even if we'll ever know truth. It's more like just watching what's happening. In my view, if I have to say it in a few words, there's a response to a virus that doesn't seem to be much worse than a regular flu. that's completely out of proportion to what's actually happening. And so, you know, it's hard to know exactly why the response is what it is. There are a lot of different layers of involvement in that. And, you know, we can pick up the thread of some of it. But it's just interesting to watch how afraid people have gotten. And, you know, like, even though there's, again, you know, it's hard to know which evidence to believe, but there's like getting the flu shot makes you more susceptible to the COVID. Wearing masks is not actually recommended by some really top people, and the social distancing.
What a contradiction.
The contradictions in it all, but somehow, you know, it's like, yeah, I just saw today that in Bali, which is like, you know, one of the hotspots of tourism on the planet, they didn't do anything. And they have very few cases, apparently, from that article. Who knows if that's true? But and Sweden went their route that they went, and, you know, like, seems to be that's what the more rational people are saying. It's like that was a pretty good approach. But anyway, here we are, and we're in Australia. And we've got some interesting people that have been elected as our leaders.
Leaders.
Complete corrupt. Yeah. Wow, amazing. Really a corrupt system, eh? I think we don't need much to see that. It's just like, you see
everywhere, though. Everywhere.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's heartbreaking, and
hopefully more of people will be interested in these meetings. Yeah. Maybe this is the way to change things.
Yeah, it's hard to know. You know, it's just all we know is that at the moment this is the way the world is functioning. That somehow the same quality of consciousness is getting elected as running the governments, and wow. And, you know, we have a system, a political system and a military system that is an expression of what's going on in the field. It's
but I think the virus, hopefully people will change through this virus.
Yeah, they are changing, but which direction, nobody knows yet. Because a lot of people are so a lot of people are so scared. Bye, Sandra. Have a beautiful day at work. I just saw your message popped on my screen for a moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not an intellectual person, so I don't have a lot to say on those.
Yeah, you know, even somehow for me, I question everything, even that statement.
I often feel sort of wishing that I had more to say, more to offer, you know, when it comes to
that thought comes through, and it seems to get believed from time to time.
Yeah, when I just a little bit of the story. My first year at school, I had a lot of trauma in my life, and so I had to repeat my first year at school. So I've, you know, grown up being told I was dumb, yeah, it sort of come
That's,
from there.
that's why I said just notice that that's an interpretation, that somehow that's been a perspective that there's been some energy with.
As well, sorry.
That's a perspective that there's been some energy with, some belief in, some just to see it for what it is. That's all it is. It's not true by any means.
But it comes up, and it just came up now.
Yeah, so it comes up, and then, but when it comes up, is an opportunity to look at it fresh again. Yeah. So either it gets somehow it becomes a reference point.
But I used to believe that I had to repeat because, you know, I was dumb. But as an adult, I've realised, oh, there was so much trauma going on. How could I have functioned, you know, at school? I couldn't. So I do see the distinction now.
Yeah. And, you know, there's way more to that conversation. It's like our educational system suits a percentage of the population, but it certainly doesn't suit everybody. And yet it's one size fits all. And if you don't fit into that system, then you get labeled dumb or whatever the story is. It might have nothing to do with anything because the system itself is not human friendly.
Yeah.
So why have any kind of measure ourselves by a system that's not, it's not human friendly, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, because we all have talents in different areas or gifts in different areas. And
exactly.
The system is just one system fits all. Yeah.
And just seeing that, what does that do? Just recognizing that it's a system, it has nothing to do with you.
What does that do? It's a relief. It changes it all around.
I'd say your system was very intelligent that it didn't go along with that system.
I believe there's potential there now that I didn't believe before.
And then, you know, there's that which is beyond any system and beyond any relational to the system. It's just, which is here, present, can't measure it, can't say anything about it.
That's the place where I feel drawn to most. Yeah.
Well, that's your, I mean, you know, it's in a sense, it's your nature. And that, recognizing that, valuing that, resting as that. You know, our nature is that in which this whole human story, the whole galactic story, everything appears so beyond everything. It's just to recognize that for a split microsecond, man, so beyond everything. And it's not like we have to become that. It's the way it is like that already. Yeah.
Which is what you were saying in your on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Thank you. Mm. So, mm.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, good.
I love to rest with you.
There's resting beyond I and you. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to add resting as awareness.
Mm.
Oh, I like the word love, resting as love.
Mm. Mm.
Hmm. I can notice how the thoughts come in and they don't have to, they cannot cling anywhere.
Mm. Lucky.
Something struck me what you said today about the situation on the planet and the people that just want to be safe no matter what the cost is. And it's yeah, what I noticed with my closest friends and even family, that relating has become so different that yeah, some friends don't want to visit me because of Corona, and it's yeah, then it triggers some sadness, and yeah, I can only leave them as they are. And it's all good anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Isaac.
Thank you, Kurt. See me?
Yep. Oh. want to speak, but I don't know how. Just everything, the whole gamut, just everything. Thank you.
Mm. Pity. Mm.
Matthias?
Is that you, Varisha? Oh, sorry.
It's
Hello?
Matthias' turn, that's right.
Who is?
Yes, hello,
Hello.
Isaac.
I see you.
Ah, yeah. Is it okay to speak?
Sure.
I don't know. I might have too much light in my back. I try to.
It's fine.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about. Can you hear me well?
I hear you very well.
About when I live with people in places they own, they feel triggered by something and I feel triggered by something they say, and there's strong emotions coming up on both sides. It's like I wanted to live with Patrick Bayard for a few weeks, and on the second day being in his place, I asked him, can you wash your hands when you come in? Like during this corona. And I was coming from a place of being afraid to ask. And so it came out in a demanding way, kind of, maybe, and then he said, no, he won't wash his hands. and then I said, okay, then I leave. So and I was so yeah, my God, it was an intense emotion, and then when I was gone, 2 days later, he wrote me an email and said, you asked in the wrong tone. And my God, yeah. And I want to work with this emotion that comes up in me. And I don't know. I don't know whether that comes from a certain age, a certain phase human beings go through, I don't know, about autonomy and authority. Somebody wants something, and then I I feel my autonomy touched and whatever. Yeah. So the question is, when I feel this intense emotion like pain or rage as a reaction, it's probably the ego that owns it and goes with it, right? I mean, can I just drop it and stay in the...
So let's slow it down for a second here. So we hear, and there's a movement, that somehow wants to know what to do in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, it's sweet. I mean, most of us know that movement. And just honoring that movement and seeing what it brings in the moment, in this current moment, right here.
Well, what brings it now, what comes up is this memory of feeling hurt, of
Yes, our memory comes up in this moment. And then a movement to want to pick up something to deal with the future moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then thoughts come in. What could that be?
Exactly. And so then the attention isn't here now anymore. It's sort of going from the past to the future and not here.
Well, what it wants is just peace and love.
When does it want it?
Love and peace.
when does it want it?
Like right now, I feel love.
Yeah, how beautiful.
I feel there's a connection, there's an interest. And yeah, so that flows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thought comes in again, how would it be without ego in all these conflicts? Just don't have it.
Yeah, so that's a thought, and watch it come, watch it go. Or not.
I'm going to move a little bit forward. The internet connection is not so stable. Be closer to the source. Yeah. Well, now I feel in this realm of self.
Beauty.
So I try to stay connected with that.
If you want to have more fun, try to disconnect from that.
If what?
if you'd like a little bit more fun, try to disconnect from that. See if it's possible.
Not possible.
Not possible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm. Now it becomes ecstatic.
How beautiful, Matthias. Yeah.
Okay, Isaac, you are great. Bye.
You're
Thank
great. All, yeah,
you.
all love.
Love.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't hear
Me?
you.
Hello.
Okay. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I can bring up any story, but anyway, this too will pass. Any story is past or will happen, you know, but there is a lot happening. I feel very happy and also a little bit sad for what is happening in the world and even close by, and how much creativity is there from people and how I got involved, because I have so much stuff to share, because I was rebuilding and it comes to places where it's really needed. So I feel so thankful that I can do something for, yeah, for people, and that I somehow it is happening, like walking on a path, and then this comes, that comes. It all fits like a logistic system. I feel really happy with that. That's I can do something to help. It's maybe also a concept, but I do it out of my heart, not like a therapist or something special. And I feel so happy that I'm just natural in this flow, and how thankful people are with me and me with them. It's a kind of magic. And also I go to the lake. There are Italians doing a birthday party with 6 people. They're scared of the police. And I said, no, it's okay. Only 1.5 meter in between. It's okay. You can just do it. I'm fine with it. But who am I? I'm not the police. And there is no police. So imagination is also in the heads of people. And fear. I see a lot of fear in people, and also challenging the fears. And I support that just to make steps forward, or just by being here, it's enough, because there is nothing else to say, because what can we say for the future? I don't know, with or without glasses, that is still, I don't want to make fun out of it. But the last thing you said about, can you disconnect? Try to disconnect. Maybe that's more fun, but that was like something what relates to me. I understand. It's impossible to disconnect. And there is no effort to connect. For me, it's not an effort.
Mm.
You can be everywhere and it's connected. And thanks God that I can have this flavor. It's God's given. That's how I feel it. That's I'm born with it, or it's so easy to remember, even without words. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't want to be smart. Maybe with glasses. Looks bad. Does it look more smart? But
I have no idea.
but I feel that people are so happy with my, now yeah, call it intelligence. But I feel also, but I don't want to make it my ego. But I feel that I bring some information. Also, I receive it from you, but many masters has given me this information, and it's such a help for the world. If you put it in a keep short and simple concept, that's something what I'm exercising, and it's happening, especially with normal people. Yeah, with the crowd, with the people I meet, also with this stuff to even cooking for people. And one day there was somebody became 80, but he couldn't leave the house. Then with some people we went there on the balcony to sing and bring some, tart cake with a, with a, and it was such a happiness for that person to give that. Also for us, it was a happiness to give that, and for that person to receive. And I thought I never should do that before like that. But I get involved, and I feel it's giving. It's also giving connection here and there, and it's beyond the digital thing, because in the afternoon I have a big. You know how you do like Prost. From 1 till 5 we do that with an event branch, and I felt again in this digital better meet on the lake on 1.5 meter distance. But anyway, I participate to meet. I just do things. It's coming on my path. What to do? And I have money to survive. So what else do we need? Not much, but I feel the heart and the connection. It's so good to bring it and to receive it, to give it, and and also singing with Miten and Primal and having the global Gayatri mantra group. It's thousands of people from the same source. It's unimaginary. It's really, I'm so grateful with all the gifts coming and receiving and also giving gifts. And but it sounds silly to say it, but it is true. And what about COVID-19? Well, in Brazil there is a disaster, and to see that, but it's part of life, death and life, no beginning, no end, never born, never die. Now a story, no story. I'm so thankful what you said in the beginning of all these weeks. We were meeting on the daytime, 11 o'clock. You start to warn me, shut up, or I'm not interested, be quiet. And it was such support. It really, well, and also my daughter, she gave me this sense stick. It was such the right thing, because I feel I'm so grateful with the gifts of life and the learning I got and the things I need to share on my age. It's important to give the wisdom. If it is wisdom, it's just what it is, you know. What else can we do than just live it, being it, without in an ego trip? Oh, I am this, I'm a coach. No, I'm nothing, I'm everything. Amen.
Okay. Thank you, Urja.
Oh, I'm so happy with you and
Yeah.
Mike. I feel really like mommy and papi, but bigger than that. It's equal. It's not an identification or a projection. Well, it's the source. We share from the same source. It's so something what maybe transforms us on a better world. We will see in future. But it is now. It is now. It's now.
It's now.
Here.
That's it.
Here.
Yeah.
I hope you sit in the same sources also, everywhere. Oh, it's here.
There's nowhere else.
Yeah. So happy to.
Okay, sweetheart.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks God. Thanks everybody.
Thank you, God.
And Eva and yeah.
Hi, Isaac.
Who's that? One second. Ah, cool. Marina.
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
Yeah.
Who was it?
My laptop got hacked last night, so, or anyway. Marina.
Yeah, I see you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfect. See you perfect. You look very mellow there.
There's nothing mellow about my nervous system today. Just all sorts of emotions. Had rage come up last night. Let these hackers get into my laptop. Anyway, it's sorting out. But and then just the weirdest 24 hours. So just lots of waves of bit of everything, really. Yeah. Yeah. From rage to frustration to fuck it to sadness too. Yeah.
Mm. Have you found someone that can practically help you with?
Yeah, my niece's partner, luckily, he's a computer tech. So I rang him straight away and told me what to do.
Yeah, correct.
Changed my bank passwords. And but it just felt like I got caught in, you know, it was a phone call and I just got sucked into this conversation and feel a bit stupid about it. But anyway, it happened. And then went to visit my niece, and lovely, lovely woman, nice family, but I walked here, I don't know whether it was just lots of computer Wi-Fi energy, but I felt weird the entire time I was there. Exhausted, lightheaded. So that happened. That was this morning. So anyway, it's my little story. It was like some sort of like shock running through my system or something, you know. You know, what that.
Yeah. Just give it space. Nothing to do with it. You don't have to do anything. You know, it's kind of like the thing of where something that we've considered our space, and then there's somebody in it that we didn't invite. Yeah. Yeah. It brings up some things.
The feeling I had in her house was just, it was just very weird sort of, yeah. I guess the mind wants to understand what it is or was. Or
Yeah, you see that. Don't go.
I was just exhausted when I left. It was just like, whoa, yeah.
Understand, yeah.
Sorry.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you see clearly.
Mine tries to work it out, you know, because it's a lovely family. She's from a Muslim family, but they're lovely people, loving family, you know. But there's a lot of computer. Who knows? I don't know. Mine's trying to work out, you know, will I even be able to go back to the house? Blah blah.
You just see it doing its dance, and just, if possible, don't feed it, don't fight it, and don't go with it. Yeah. You just see with that it's trying to help, but it can't. And then that scene just dropping, just dropping deeper, just letting it drop deeper. Getting quiet. It's okay that it does what it does. You don't have to fight it and you don't have to go with it.
Still have it because I've had this sort of fatigue off and on for so long, and high blood pressure that's getting better. But if as soon as there's something like that, there's still a freak out that happens in the nervous system.
Yeah. And if it
It
was
just-
up to you, it wouldn't.
It happens.
You can see.
No.
Yeah, it just happens. Yeah. It'll pass, you know that.
Yeah.
Can you find anything that's funny in this moment? That didn't take long.
I know, just the word. That's enough. I can't think of anything funny, but the word.
Well, enough. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Oh God, it's so changeable, the climate is so changeable. Far out. Here, anyway.
Thank you, and all of us. What's truly important, huh? Is there anything more important than peace? Actually not, yeah. Yeah.
That's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Simple. And I see how willing your system is to receive the invitation and just take it and rest with it. And it just wobbles when it wobbles. I mean, what to do? But again and again, we just come back to what we love, yeah, and what's the priority. Simple.
Yeah, seems to wobble a lot, and the mind can be so crazy. Crazy mind. God.
Yeah. Yeah, good to see.
But then sometimes there's some peace. You know, last time with you, it was beautiful. Felt really deep.
And some moments right now. Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I touch into some of that peace, I think, oh God, I'm just touching into a glimpse of it, you know, because I know there's such depth to it. And there's a knowing of that, but you know, I also know I just taste it. And there's a longing to go deeper, but it's not sort of quite happening here yet.
It's, longing is enough, you know. The longing is enough.
It's a big longing.
Yeah, beautiful longing.
Yeah. Thank you, Isaac.
Oh, thanks, Marina. Pretty.
Hello, Isaac.
Hi, that's Esther.
Do we still have some minutes?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I see my system is, or was, in such a speedy thing, back and forward movement and so. And so I was here with the meeting, but I was in the meantime baking some cookies. And that was relaxing. It was enjoying to have this field actually, or to work in this field. And then I felt my system is much more calm, I think. And yeah, some contractions, but it's, yeah, and it's a funny habit for my system. And that longing for connection, and then at the same time this, yeah. So here I am.
I see you.
And I stepped in the online course from Matlikata. And really looking now for what, because I'm often a bit angry about how my system is reacting. And really looking at what is the use of how it works, or what is the use in the past, how it works. So it's just, yeah, being more quiet with it, or peaceful with
Beautiful.
what works. But it also makes me sad in a way. But yeah. Yeah, some activity around my heart, I feel. Activity like speeding up and yeah. Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you. Okay. We come back to. Thank you all for participating. So.